Are we really doing this again, Luka Dončić?
No!
He's got the NBA world talking because he might be in shape, boys and girls. We'll talk about it next on the DLLS Mavs podcast. Hey, what's up, DLLS Mavs Nation? It's your man, Kevin Gray, alongside Mavericks beat writer Tim Cato, Mavericks analyst Bobby Crella. We are, of course, DLLS Mavs, your favorite guys covering your favorite team, even if Luka Dončić is in shape or not. We've got a lot to talk about here on today's episode. Appreciate you joining us here on this marvelous Monday afternoon, gentlemen. Good to be back in the DLLS Sports Studios. Tim Cato, what's going on?
I don't want to hear it, Kevin. I haven't been on vacation yet. You're gloating. You're just describing like these underground cavern therapy sessions right before.
I mean,
I've just been here hosting all week, and like being asked to be Kevin. Well, you just relax, and
you were doing your thing, Cato. You, Corella, shout out to Machine, shout out to Christian Clark, shout out to Mike Palucci, who likes sports. Like, shout out to all the guests who joined last week. Y'all were holding it down, man. I was enjoying
my one funny reflection on last week and me hosting for like 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
I think I did the best job on Monday and got increasingly worse as the week went on. So all power to you. It could get to you a little bit.
What's up, Corella?
Hello. I've got Cowboys training camp fever. That's what I spent my weekend doing for our YouTube channel. And then also, the Rangers are like really good now, so I'm just locked into baseball.
That's right.
Hey, the trade deadline is coming up this week. Make sure you check out DLS Rangers all week. But one of the guys that they might have been potentially interested in trading for, Emmanuel Clase, former Ranger, by the way, he's been placed on non-disciplinary paid leave as part of MLB sports betting investigation.
Hey, yo!
Yeah, sports are happening everywhere you look.
My man's already been suspended once for like PEDs. Now he's getting in trouble potentially for, some betting stuff.
Oh, alleged.
Free my man. He's innocent.
Jeez.
What's his name again?
Emmanuel Clase. No.
Okay, yeah, no. My buddy Emmanuel did nothing wrong.
He did nothing wrong.
Totally.
Tanner, good to see you as always. How are you?
Good. Yeah,
good to see our friend Shaheed Malik in the chat already. Don't want to hear about Luka. Well, guess what, my guy? You're going to hear a lot about it today.
I don't either. That's the thing. I don't want to hear about Luka at all. Unfortunately, though, he's one of the 5 best players alive.
He's literally a global superstar who apparently is on his tour with Jordan Brand as he gets ready for Eurobasket. You want to talk about a movie coming up in August and September. We've got Eurobasket coming up. That should be a lot of fun. A lot of NBA superstars that you know and love will be participating in that tournament. But he made headlines today, Men's Health, because there is a brand new piece detailing the offseason workouts and shape that Luka Dončić is getting into. As you saw at the beginning of our show with our headline and the photo, Luka Dončić taking his offseason health extremely seriously this time around. And you can, again, that's right, Tanner. You can see it and read it if you want to in Men's Health in their latest edition of their article with Luka Dončić detailing what he's been doing. Are we doing this again, gentlemen? Because it's always a conversation around this time of the year, whether you're a Mavs fan or now a Lakers fan, about Luka Dončić and his shape, Tim Cato. Are we doing this again?
Okay, a lot of thoughts. I'm gonna start with like 3 of the thoughts.
Well, you could just start with one.
Well, my first thought
there.
is Luka Dončić 2.0 has entered the chat as the worst headline I've ever seen on a big magazine feature.
Dang.
I have journalism professors like rolling over wherever they are. I hope they still are employed with tenure.
Not
I
trying
had some
to kill
older
off your old
professors. I don't know.
professors.
I don't know what they're up to. It's been a decade.
All right.
Second thought is that, as mentioned in the chat, 214 cited and somebody else. Yes, partially the reason we're talking about this is because we're in late July and there are only so many topics. But at the same time, this is today's NBA discourse. This is, if you go log onto Twitter, what everybody's talking about it. And there is a lot of Mavs ties. So my first real thought when it comes to this is Luka Dončić is not a Mavericks player, not directly part of this, but when he was a Maverick, getting in shape over a summer was never his issue. That is doable. That was doable. Most times with the Dallas Mavericks, he showed up in shape more often than not. There is a couple of exceptions in there, but even last season when he had, he got injured the day before training camp, but by all accounts and reports, he was in pretty good shape. That's what I heard. And then it was those 2 weeks or 3 weeks that he sat between training camp starting and the team's opening game. That's where he kind of spiraled out. Same thing for this. The question isn't whether he's in shape right now. The question isn't whether he's going to be in shape playing for Slovenia. The question is when Eurobasket ends and Lakers training camp starts, what's going to happen in that time period? And even more than that, I think the real question is January, February, what happens when he is just dragging an injured, not quite good enough Lakers team where the only way that they're winning is that he's dropping 36, 9 and 9 every single night? How does he respond to that emotional, physical, and burden? Also that just like that level of importance. How is he going to respond to that? Is he going to be able to make it to a playoff run, a playoff series, and still not be hampered by this or that, or just the season, the weight of the season? I think that's the place to start with it. So I'm just gonna say right off the bat, yeah, he does look pretty slim and svelte and lean in these photos, which are magazine photos. It's a magazine. It's called Men's Health. There's some level of photoshopping in there. I'm not saying he's not in shape, but it is funny every time. Like when we've gone through the cycle before, and people have been like, Luka looks like he's totally jacked. I've barely ever seen. These are the first photos of this entire news cycle that has been ongoing for 6 years now that have looked even slightly different to me. Like he always just looked kind of like Luka.
I think there's two ties to Mavs fans. All right, we're not just three dudes talking about the guy that we miss so much because there's 6 months of podcast of me saying that if you're going to trade him, just get back more. So like if you want someone that's just devastated, then look elsewhere. Actually, it doesn't look like we're matching on camera. That makes me feel really good because our shirts look so similar in person, but on camera it's different. So that's great. Shout out to the cameras.
Yours is actually beige. Mine's an off-white.
Yeah, you're off-white. Yeah.
Not literally off-white.
There's two ties to Mavs fans here that I have bravely identified. One, if Luka is completely in shape and is just a badass and is going to go on a revenge tour this season, that's a bad news for the Mavs because the Lakers are one of the teams that finished ahead of them in the standings last year that I think the Mavs, even without Kyrie, could potentially challenge, right? And maybe catch up and pass. Dallas finished 10th last year. You obviously want to be in the top 6, but even if you're not top 6, you want to be top 8, so you don't got to go 2-0 just to make the playoffs, just to be sacrificed to OKC. So if you're trying to catch the Lakers, you want Luka to be bad. You want Luka to be injured. You don't want Luka to be Luka, right? The worse Luka is, or the unhealthier Luka is, the better your chances of making the playoffs are if you're a Mavs fan. So that's number one. So if you want us to move on from Luka, we can't because Luka's now the op. You got to get past him. All right. Number two, there are some Mavs fans that no matter how you feel about the trade, no matter how you feel about Luka or AD or whatever, there's this sentiment of like, well, why didn't this happen whenever he was here? Why couldn't Luka have just totally changed his life and his diet and his approach to conditioning and to being a professional athlete, to being a professional, being a man, all that stuff? Why couldn't that have happened whenever he was in Dallas? And that's a really fair question. But we went through the same thing as Mavs fans with Dirk Nowitzki 20 years ago. I found this video of Dirk. Like, he's talked about it openly for many times. It wasn't just on this pod. But I tweeted out a link to Dirk talking to this guy about how after losing in the finals in 2006, he later that summer played at the World Championships with Germany and just didn't feel totally right. Like, he just didn't feel great. He was 27, 28, and he was like, man, why don't I feel good? Like, this should be the best time of my career. Why do I feel lousy? And not long after that, he completely cut out like sugar from his diet. Like, that dude went months without eating a dessert, months at a time. I could never imagine doing that. I love dessert. It's precious to me. A dessert in Vegas almost made me break out in tears. But he cut out alcohol during the season. He cut out red meat, and this is a very meticulous and rigorous diet that he kept to, and he also started incorporating more weights into his conditioning regimen and everything, and that helped not only transform his career but also extended his career. And Dirk didn't come to that revelation until he was 27, 28. Everyone is on their own timeline, man. Like, there are guys that are in really good shape in the NBA that have off-court issues that prevent them from being great. You don't have to look very far to find those. No one is perfect. Everyone develops physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever, on their own timeline. And the fact that it didn't happen here is a bummer. I am of the opinion that the Mavs probably didn't do themselves any favors here. They probably could have waited around and made sure that happened here, or put different resources in place to help that happen here, and they would have avoided this whole thing, and we wouldn't even be talking about it. But ultimately, if you're a basketball fan, especially if you're a Luka fan or a Lakers fan, but if you're just a fan of good basketball, you want every player to be in great shape. You want every player to have their life in order, because you want the best players playing the best basketball at the highest level all the time. Yeah. And so, like, this is objectively just a good thing. I got more to say about it, and it's gonna be a long show, but like, that's just the upshot to me. This is a really, really good thing.
Yeah, I think, and we'll talk about this plenty more too, because folks will say, well, it never happened here, as Bobby has started to point out. When it did
I've got long thoughts on it. I'm waiting for the next segment to get back into it.
Yeah. What I'll say real quick is, in 2023, as he began to build his body team, and he did take care of himself and put himself in the kind of conditioning that folks were wanting to see him in, he wound up having the best year of his career and led the Mavericks to the NBA Finals. Now, you can say what you want about the years prior to and after that as far as his conditioning is concerned, but when he has taken it seriously, we've seen some of the results for him. The other thing I'll say this before we take our break, too, is this is what happens when you get divorced from your ex and they decide to go get their revenge body, and this is the coming out party for Luka Dončić and his revenge body. Now, how you may feel about it and whether or not he could have done it here in Dallas, that's one thing. But what is clear here, the Lakers PR machine has decided that Luka's body is ready to be revealed.
It ain't Lakers PR that's doing all this, man. This is the Luka.
No, I said the Lakers PR. Lakers PR.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, like, Lakers PR ain't getting him in a magazine.
Yeah. Whatever.
This is Luka. Like, this is Luka proudly going back out there.
Yes.
This is Luka doing all the gym work and then posting. This is the Instagram.
This is the Instagram model showing the revenge body.
He just posted on feed. He's like, oh yeah. I'm gonna make sure that he's not doing stories. He can't have it expire in 24 hours. What if the ex doesn't see it?
That's right.
Eventually,
the ex gonna see this over and over and over again. That's right.
And he wants to make sure this is documented on feed, on wall.
Yeah. These are the basketball equivalent of thirst traps. This is what this is, because he's out here showing the body that he believes is going to help him, I guess, get to where he wants to be as far as career is concerned. We'll see what happens as the Lakers and the Mavericks go through their separate ways and what this trade will look like for years to come. But this clearly, to me, is what this is that he has decided, at least publicly, to get himself committed to the kind of shape that will allow him to have the longevity of his career. And he has revealed it to the world through Men's Health.
It's one thing to show it, it's another thing to live it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Dirk, that was a 15-year process for him between the moment he made that decision and the end of his career. Like, it's going to be really, really, really tough for Luka to keep it up, but hopefully he can.
More on this coming up here on the DLLS Mavs podcast as we discuss Luka Dončić's revenge body being revealed today in Men's Health and what it means for both the Mavericks, Lakers, and we move forward through the rest of the offseason. Coming up next here on the DLLS Mavs podcast. Well, speaking of basketball, I want you to enjoy basketball games, football games, concerts, sporting events. I love the bump music. I love this. When it comes to going to your favorite events, Game Time can help you do it. Game Time Picks allows you to filter out the fluff to show you incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. In fact, tonight, I'm going to use Game Time to get my tickets to go see the Liberty take on the Dallas Wings at College Park, to see Sabrina Ionescu, to see Paige Beckers go at it in a WNBA showdown tonight. They've got all-in pricing this Game Time as well, so I know exactly what I'm going to pay before I get to checkout. They got panoramic seat views, so I can pick out the perfect seat to be able to watch tonight's game, and I'm not surprised by what I will see. With the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So make sure you take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DLLS for $20 off your first purchase. Remember, terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DLLS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it, gentlemen?
Game time.
Game time.
So we got two branded Bills hats shipped to our office. One was a TCU hat, and Jeff Wilson immediately claimed that, and I don't think he's taken it off his head since. The other one was just kind of like it has the outline of the state of Texas on it. You know, branded Bills celebrates our great state. I'm pretty sure Jeff Kavanaugh took that against the rules. That's supposed to be on display, but I think Kavanaugh just displays it on his head. He swears by branded Bills, though. So both of the Jeffs, all right, if you see a hat, it's probably from our friends at Branded Bills. They got a partnership with 40 colleges, part of their campus collection, including TCU, Texas Tech, and now the University of Texas. Shout out Clarence Hill. Whether you need snapbacks, truckers, fitteds, beanies, or tees, Branded Bills has you covered with performance and style. Head to brandedbills.com and use code BBDLLS, again, BBDLLS, to save 15% off your first order. You're going to be looking fresh, just like Jeff Wilson and Jeff Kavanaugh, even if your name isn't Jeff.
Quote, if I stop now, it was all for nothing. That a quote coming directly from Luka Dončić in the latest piece.
Man, that's some Linkin Park kind of sentiment.
It is from menshealth.com, where Luka Dončić is the featured man in the piece, where he is revealing to the rest of the world what he's been doing from a training regimen standpoint this offseason. And Mavericks fans, Lakers fans, NBA fans
he
are
had to fall to lose it all
about it.
I thought the music only played behind the ad breaks.
No, Tanner's got another bed underneath me right now.
Yeah. Well, you were just providing it.
Keys of boom, boom, boom.
Oh, wow.
Boom.
Also,
you a big Linkin Park guy, Kevin Green?
I'm a big wrestling fan, so yes, I'm definitely a Linkin Park guy for sure.
Okay, there we go.
Everything is pro wrestling, so some of the best things have ever come from Linkin Park for sure. Quote, what the Luka haters have never seen is this. Quote, Dončić slogging through 2-a-days in Croatia while sticking to a, quote, gluten-free, low-sugar diet that includes at least, check this out, Tanner, 250 grams of protein and 1 almond milk-fueled shake a day. They never knew that Dončić had quietly constructed a fitness team several years ago to help enhance his, quote, very dangerous natural gifts, and they never realized how much he committed to training and diet this summer, end quote. So that gives you more context on what apparently he has been doing this offseason.
He's done this every summer. This is not it's not like every single summer he sat on his couch from June to, April, May, June to September. He has spent every summer working out. Now the piece does talk about how the Mavericks did not give him as much structure, did not provide him with team-issued structure. And this is both regimes of the Dallas Mavericks. This is partially...
I'm kind of calling BS on that part.
Well, call it out. Let's
they
hear
certainly
it.
sent delegations over. It's true that...
They did give him a plan. There was one year where they gave him a plan. This is back in the ancient times.
And he's had guys... There's a lot of talk about Team Luka in this. And they talk about the guys who were big news stories when Dallas... the whole drama news cycle around the training staff last season with the Mavericks. Like, these guys' names were in there a lot, but he's had trainers before. He's had guys I've interviewed asking about what was the. I have done stories like this with former physical trainers of Luka Dončić, dating back to probably 21 or 22, one of those summers. This is something he does. Again, I think he's very good at it. Now, he has never had more reason to make overarching permanent change or as permanent as he can than he has this summer. Losing
$100 million will do that to you.
Getting embarrassed, being the face of an embarrassing, unprecedented, all-time shocking trade is a very embarrassing thing. And it was very publicly Dallas making a bet against him. We've been over this 100 times. And I do think a lot of this falls on Dallas. Going back to your question, going back to the headline question, why couldn't Luka have done this in Dallas? I do think some of it was the Mavericks. Rick Carlisle and the Mavericks front office was always, and we've talked about this with Tim McMahon, he wrote about it in his book, they had a fear of Dončić, a fear of him leaving. And there was at times where there could have been, not authority, what's the right word? Pushback or accountability. there could have been accountability that was not issued because very quickly they realized like this guy is, bigger than our jobs. And I think that changed a little bit under Nico, but I'm not sure Nico. I think Nico expected, because of who Luka was, that he would figure this stuff out himself rather than it coming from a kind of a more team-orientated direction. Certainly Luka has talked about, this never being a conversation that has come up. He had not talked to these guys about their expectations. And to some extent, I get it. He's a superstar who was up for a $250 million contract. More than that, 320, 340, whatever it was. And when you're making that type of money, there is an expectation that, you're going to do all the stuff around the edges that make up for this. And again, I think this news article or this specific magazine feature is more detailing a process, maybe a better and more focused, and perhaps one that's going to stick, perhaps one that's going to be permanent. It's detailing a process he's gone through before, but it also details the mindset of like how he is, like he understands that, this is the time to rewrite these narratives about his career and hopefully rewrite the narrative of what has been true throughout his career, is that he doesn't fade in the playoffs, but he ends up, by the time he gets to the playoffs, he's carrying stuff. He is battered and bruised. That's the case for every NBA player, but the more prevention, you can't prevent injuries, but the more you can, do to reduce injury reduction is what the medical trainers, sports scientists, that's what they like to refer to it rather than injury prevention. It's an injury reduction. The more you can do leading into a season to try to reduce the idea that you're going to be banged up and hurt once April rolls around, I think that is it's important. It's especially important for somebody like Luka.
It's more than just the playoffs, though. It's the end of games. Like if you go back more years in his career than not, like more often than not, his fourth quarter splits have not been good. Like even the 1920 and 2021 season, whenever he was younger and a little more svelte, a little more slim, whatever, people are like nostalgically going back and looking at those seasons. He's shooting like mid to low 20s from three in the fourth quarter. He's shooting like low 40s, high 30s from the field. And the Mavs, that 1920 team, very famously lost a lot of games that they were leading in the fourth quarter. And at the time, everyone blamed it on their defense, but it was really because their clutch offense stunk. Their clutch offense was not good, and a lot of that was Luka. And this isn't to be critical of the guy, but like it's just been kind of a pattern throughout his career that not every year, 23, 24 is a little different. And of course they went to the finals, but
and also even as the clutch offense was bad, Luka still had clutch moments, which
he did. Yeah.
But,
he had a lot of, some of the coolest triumphs I've ever seen in my life,
But like these things can both be true.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Because I know some people are like in their head, like, well, what about all those clutch shots?
He made the shot.
No, the fact though, if you go look at the offenses were still bad. His numbers were still down.
Yes, they were. Yeah.
Prior quarters.
And so, that's part of just learning how to be a pro and learning how to compete at the highest level and whatever. But like I said before, in the first segment, there are a lot of NBA players that are in incredible shape that have statuesque bodies, but their attitude is a complete mess. Their approach is way off. The people in their lives are just taking advantage of them. They make very reckless decisions off the floor or even on the floor. And so despite being having a chiseled frame, they will never come close to having the career that Luka's had. And so, like, being in shape is one aspect of being a pro. It's not everything. It is very important, just like having a good jump shot is very important, just like being able to switch on defense is very important. It's an aspect of this thing. Just like it's an aspect, everyone has character traits and aspects of their personality, and like trying to make this relatable, because hardly anything about pro sports is relatable anymore. Just think about a time whenever you got dumped, or you got let go from your job, or maybe you had a falling out with a friend, or you had a fight with a family member or whatever, and it was your fault. Now, I know we're all main characters in our lives, so nothing is my fault. Tim, nothing's ever been your fault. KG, you're flawless. Tanner,
some things
completely,
have been my fault.
like, we're all innocent guys. We've only ever been taken advantage of. Like, we're the victims in the world, but like,
that's right.
Let's pretend that we've made some mistakes. All right, let's pretend that we've had to right some wrongs. Well, especially when you're 23, 24, you're doing a bunch of dumb stuff. You're probably treating people bad. You're probably saying some things you shouldn't. You've probably done a lot of really bad things. Maybe you're not totally going all in at your job, Someone dumps you. What are you going to do next? Like, are you going to make a change? Are you going to make the conscious decision to put in the effort to improve that aspect of your character or personality, or apply those lessons that you gained from someone who relationship you really valued, and apply that so that when the next person comes along, you're going to be better? Or when the next job comes along, you're going to be better? Or when you have an opportunity to make more friends, you're going to be better for them? Like, this is a very relatable thing. Now it's different because I guess there are some people that have probably broken up with partners or whatever because you didn't look good enough, or you got to take better care of your body or whatever. But like, think about it from a holistic sense. Think about it as something that you can relate to. And like, hopefully that will maybe recalibrate your patience level. Everyone needs a wake-up call, and yours is coming soon if you haven't gotten one yet. Like, everyone in life needs a wake-up call, and it's ultimately up to you to whether you respond to it or not. I thought and I hoped, as a Mavs fan and as an employee of the team at the time, I hoped that Game 3 of the Finals in 2024 would be that moment for him. Whenever he fouled out, and he was the reason they lost that game. The Mavs should have won that game.
Yeah.
But Luka's reckless decision-making, him forcing it, he was very bad on defense throughout that entire game, and him fouling out as the Mavs had completed like a 20-point comeback in the fourth quarter.
Egregious.
That cost them the game. And I thought, I really, really hoped that would be his wake-up call. They come out to win the next game by 50 or whatever. They go on to lose the series, but I was hoping coming into the next season it would be different, and it really wasn't. And now he was banged up, and there's injuries are out of your control or whatever, but maybe it just came. Maybe the wake-up call came a year too late for Mavs fans, but maybe it came just in time for Luka. And that's why I said, like I said before, if this is going to be a change, and if he's going to be a badass destroyer of worlds for another 10 years, what a huge win for basketball fans, even if it means good things for the Lakers, which is a tragedy for me and a tragedy for basketball fans everywhere. But if we get to see one of the best offensive players of all time be one of the best offensive players of all time for another decade, I got no complaints. I think that's a beautiful thing.
And we don't know when the wake-up call came. For all we know, it was the first long-term injury that he ever suffered, and you just can't completely turn everything around at mid-season. But because he got injured and had to miss 3 months of basketball, 2.5 months of basketball, and then got traded in the midst of it, it's possible. We just don't know. We don't know. But the other thing I wanted to say, just I know we're coming up on the break. The article talks a lot about his athletic gifts and strengths, and how a lot more of it is about deceleration and eccentric forces, things I've written about before. Basically, that is, his muscles can contract and then release, and then contract again quicker. They can handle more load, more force volitionally. Like, his body understands he can plant and push off and then go back the other direction in a way that most bodies cannot, and his body just inherently knows that. And the article talks about how that is not necessarily something that you see with like a chiseled bodybuilder type frame. Not to say that Luka...
It was like LeBron never had to learn how to slow down.
Right.
Right. He's just a different kind of athlete, different kind of body.
Yeah, and it's 100%. And like, I'm sure, I am positive it helps that if Luka is in the best shape of his life, that can only be a good thing for him in his basketball future. But I would agree that most of his athletic gifts, yes, there are things you can work on. No, it's not stuff that shows up in the traditional athletic measurements of dunking and vertical and 40 time. The NFL combineification of sports, where everything is about those two things: vertical leap and 40 times, and that's just not his game, and that does not detract from the fact that he is like a hyper athlete in a lot of ways. But I'm still seeing comments, or I've seen comments, there's one a while back from Goadsy that said if Luka actually gets in shape and takes it serious, it pisses me off. He didn't take it serious until he was traded, so he's doing it out of spite. The one thing I just want to close on is, I think every single summer this article could have been written, and Team Luka is choosing to publish it, is recognizing that the narrative, that the new team, that the trade has a lot of people looking and questioning.
Tim Cato said, "Open your third eye."
I'm just saying that he has done this every year, and it may be different. I hope so.
The things about his diet, I think, is a little.
I would agree. The diet stuff does stand out as noticeable. It does seem like he's taking more of a change, And I hope it sticks because he's one of the best players.
And there's
I've
something
ever
too whenever you
watched.
stake, like he is now acknowledging this is like a public thing. He's owning
Right.
it. Like this is
Right.
something that I need to get better at. Whereas before, I mean, someone said in the chat, like I think it was Shahid that said it in the chat, like at his intro press conference with the Lakers, Luka did not say that he's out of shape. Like he kind of like shot down that stuff. This is kind of an acknowledgement that it's something he needs to work on.
He's also slightly more willing to talk to media these days.
I also think more as a guy that loves watching Luka play, I think his, I think the attitude and controlling his emotions and all those things is way more important.
And those are
because we've seen him we've seen him be an incredible player, even if he's not able to run the fastest or jump the highest or whatever. But his,
which kind of adds to the legend of the guy.
Yeah, but like getting the texts and like kind of that emotional thing. Game 3 against the Celtics, like fouling out of that game was a huge mistake. That was an emotional thing, not a physical thing. So he's got a lot to improve on. Spoiler alert. Who the hell doesn't? I do. We do. Y'all let us know what we need to improve on. Everyone sucks, man. We're all getting better all the time.
We're all figuring it out
every day.
I mean, I would have to imagine like there's a direct correlation between regulating emotions. I know there is with me. Regulating the emotions, not getting like too high or too low when things are not going perfectly around you, and still sticking to these habits and routines that aren't your favorite thing to do.
Yeah, it's like they said in Legally Blonde. Working out, exercise gives you endorphins. Endorphins make you happy, and happy people just don't shoot their husbands. All right? We've known this for 25 years.
Let's take our break here on the DLLS Mavs podcast. When we come back, the ramifications if PJ Washington doesn't start for the Dallas Mavericks this season. We'll talk about that and more coming up next year on the DLLS Mavs podcast.
You know that moment. Bobby knows that moment. Kevin knows that moment.
I do.
The one where you realize you left your favorite pair of sunglasses at the beach. Kevin, did you leave sunglasses at the beach that you were just at?
Did your Shady Rays survive Cancun?
They did.
Oh,
okay. But you know what?
If I had lost them, I could have got some replacements though, for sure.
Oh, wait, you know about this too?
I do, actually.
Oh my God.
We literally talk about this like all the time.
I thought I was about to tell you that Shady Rays changed the game. Their sunglasses are made for real life. They're seriously good looking, polarized, durable, and not stupidly expensive. But here's the wild part. If you lose or break them, even on day one, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair. No guilt trip, just replacements. So now you can actually wear your sunglasses without fear. We've teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. Head to shadyrays.com. Use code DLLS35 for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
Your boy had a lot of cool mojitos when he was in Mexico, but if I needed to keep him cool even further, I would have used Rugged Road coolers to keep him cool throughout the course of my trip. Rugged Road is dedicated to creating innovative and durable outdoor gear for adventurers who demand the best. Our products are designed with the highest quality materials and craftsmanship, ensuring they perform in the toughest conditions. Whether you're on land or water, Rugged Road gear is built to accompany you on every adventure. They're versatile. They're perfect for a variety of outdoor activities, from fishing to tubing to camping and tailgating as well. These coolers are designed, of course, to meet the needs of every outdoor or sports enthusiast. So make sure you gear up for your next adventure with Rugged Road coolers. They're reliable, they're durable, and built to be used. Rugged Road is your ultimate outdoor companion. Make sure you head to ruggedroadoutdoors.com and use code DLLS for 10% off. Again, ruggedroadoutdoors.com and use code DLLS for 10% off today.
We did get a super chat, and it's a compelling super chat. I'm not going to lie to you, man.
From
Sheldon Fennel. Do you want me to do it?
Yeah, you got it.
All right, Sheldon Fennel, $4.99 shout out. Doesn't Luka always train overseas? Maybe it's the food in Texas, man. The food is too good. That is such a good point. The food is what everywhere you look out here, it's something great to eat. And also, without diving too far into politics here, there's a whole lot less regulations about what we can put in our food over here than what they can put over there. And so it is very difficult. It's very difficult. It's the USA is just one big temptation island.
I've got bad news about LA. Well, bad news from a Luka perspective, if this is the reason. Great food city. One of the best. Maybe the best. Oh my God. Amazing food.
I will say, like, the first day or two, like being back here in the States versus being in Mexico, my stomach was tore up. Because the food that was made in Mexico is made a lot more purely.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot less things that go into the food there, but it tastes amazing. But man, when I got back here, started eating American food, my stomach was tore the hell up.
Dude, once you get like all these like 8-syllable ingredients. Like,
yeah, man.
It's like, dude, come on.
Mononucleosis, oxide, sodium.
Like,
I don't know.
Go somewhere else outside of the U.S. to eat some of their food over there.
Yeah, it's
and
like salt, pepper, and water.
Woo! And they come back over here. Yeah, it takes your body a little bit to adjust. Lastly, I'll say real quick on the Luka thing. We'll get to PJ Washington. As you guys were discussing, the fluctuations when it comes to his weight in the years that's gone on, it started to remind me the analogy I'll come up with. Luka's weight fluctuations were a lot like the way he described his technical foul problem. Like Luka will always talk about how he needed to improve with his technical fouls.
Yeah.
And never necessarily improved.
Never did.
Luka always talked about how he's, got to, get his weight together. Didn't necessarily improve all that much. Yet, exactly. So maybe he goes to California, mellows out a little bit in terms of his technical foul problem, and he gets his weight together. So who knows?
And I mean, it's also really important to say you could be in great shape and still get hurt. Look at the entire Mavs roster right now.
Or all the dudes suffering a torn Achilles, and those guys are in great shape.
Yeah, just to hammer that point home, I remember I once in a column I wrote when he got ejected from the Slovenian national team. After he got ejected from that game, I think this was 2023. It's a lot of emotions. A lot of times I don't control myself, which I've been having problems with. In 2019, Dončić was asked about interacting with officials. Yeah, I've got to work on that for sure. In February 2021, to Stephen A. Smith, he said, I got to stop this. I know it's not right. 3 months later, he said, I realize it. He repeated it to NBA TV, quote, I realize it. It's something that I'm not supposed to do. It's difficult with all the emotions in games, but obviously I've got to stop. On an episode of the Old Man and the Three podcast in March 2022, Dončić said, I had a talk with myself, and I just said, this can't keep going forever. It's a really bad look. I knew I was doing this, but I kept going. It's over. I had to tell myself no more, man. He said all of these things, all of these times before Game 3, which you cited, which was not an ejection, but it was, it was a moment where he was not fully in charge of emotions, and he made
lost
a very
his damn
reckless
mind.
dumb.
He did, man.
Yeah, he made a very reckless dumb foul.
He made 6 very reckless dumb fouls in that game. I'm gonna keep it
correct.
Keep it a $1.50.
Yeah, I am rooting for him in the same way that I am rooting for myself to, there are things in my life that I know I should improve on, and I've known and tried for multiple years of my life, and then realized I fell back into the same habit. So I'm rooting for it in like a very human way that I am getting better at these habits, like some of these things that I've identified and been working on in my own personal life. And slowly, it's not always linear. It's not always a perfect trajectory upwards, but just as I hope that I will continue getting better and finding that discipline and focus, I hope that for anybody. And I think that's what Luka's dealing with.
Dude, we've entered into the domain. It's like 11:30 p.m., 12:30 a.m., and it's the end of the night, and it's you and your boys, and you're just talking about the big picture stuff.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Zen mind, beginner's mind.
Yeah.
All right.
We're a therapy podcast. We just talk about basketball as a
if
In
I had
the
known-
beginner's mind, there's many possibilities, and in the expert's mind, there are few, right? Like you are always improving. The great Skin Wade, with whom I used to host a show, Numbers on the Boards. Great podcast. Go check it out. Named after the song, of course, by the great Pusha T. Check out that too. So
New Clips album.
Skin used to always talk about. We would talk about Luka quite a bit because we did this show for a lot of Luka's career,
And he put numbers on the board.
he did. And inevitably the defense stuff and the techs and all conditioning, all that stuff would come up, and Skin would always tie it back to raising his own kids. And he would say, I was talking to my son the other day, or my daughter, and at the time, whatever, let's say he was 9, and or the daughter was 12, and they're like, I've got it all figured out, Dad. I've got it all figured out. And Skin was like, you do? Yeah, I do. Well, think back to 3 years ago. Like, how much more do you think you know now than you did 3 years ago? They'd say like, oh my God, so much more. I've learned so much. It's like, so you don't think that 3 years from now you're going to learn even more? Or like you're going to learn the same amount? Or like the difference between, let's say, from 12 and 9? Imagine how much more you'll know when you're 22 instead of 12 or 32. You learn with age. I think like the issue, the weakness, and the easier thing to do is feel like you've reached this state where like I've got it all figured out. Like I've got all the answers. My frontal cortex is developed. I'm 25. Like I've got it all sorted out. Dude, I know so much more about myself now than I did even 2 years ago.
And why would he change?
And I'm 34.
Yeah.
I'm not 26 with $150 million in the bank. Like, imagine what it's like. It has got to be so much tougher. So, yeah, I mean, I'll point at the guy and say, dude, you need to get better at this, this, and this. But, like, you're going to do it on your own timeline.
For what is it? Four fingers
That's right.
back at you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, you're going to figure it out or you're not. Either way, it doesn't really affect my life. But, like, I hope that you do figure it out. But, like, it's not going to come to you overnight. This is a lifetime, dude. Your life, yourself, it's a project that never ends, man. You're going to be working on it until you go to sleep for good one day. You know, we all are. And I hope we all commit to doing so.
I think the funniest part about this whole discussion is, too, because at the age that he was, growing in 18, 19, like he was a 5-time first-team All-NBA selection looking and playing like this. So I've said it before and I'll say it again. If the Mavericks were right about the dude, he's even better than what we think he is because he's actually going to get himself into the kind of physical condition that will allow him to do this for a decade to come when it comes to playing for the Los Angeles Lakers. The ultimate point about all this for me ultimately is you don't give up on the type of player that he was and not figure out every single way to ensure that you get the most out of him. Imagine Denver if the Denver Nuggets had given up on Nikola Jokic before he turned into the absolute monster that he became. Because if you remember back in 2020 when he came back in the bubble, my man was a completely different human being. Mm-hmm. And every year after that, he has terrorized the rest of the league. That's just one example. So,
but his own, I mean,
and he
his
had to
own
get his
body
own,
could be holding him back. But I mean, it's just like it's the same, dude. It's the same thing. How many players would be superstars if they could make a MFing jump shot?
Exactly.
You know, like, hey, how about you develop your jumper, buddy?
Yeah.
Giannis, you don't think Giannis would have won 5 titles by now if he could make a 3? Like, go dunk on him, but you won't. Want to know why? Because Giannis has big muscles.
Yeah,
and big muscles are cool to look at.
Amusingly, the reason he stopped shooting well is he got too
strong.
Yeah, he got too fit.
Like, Shaq never learned to make a free throw in his whole freaking life, but he won a bunch of titles. Great. He had some really good teammates, and he was a very good player. But imagine how many more. Michael Jordan, what if he wouldn't have smoked cigars all the time and golfed every single day?
That's the allure of sports in a lot of ways.
Yeah, like they're all so flawed.
Yeah, they're all flawed, and yet they still do these incredibly amazing athletic feats. And the fact that that dude was as quote-unquote thick, fat, whatever you want to call it, and was still putting up historic numbers, leading a team to an NBA Finals, it's kind of what's fun about the guy. Sure, should he look like a Greek god? I don't know. Who gives a damn? But he was still playing incredible basketball, even in the shape that he was. But again, if the Mavericks were right about the dude, he's even better than what we thought he was. And that's kind of frightening.
No, it's interesting because Luka exits and in comes Cooper Flagg. And Cooper is 18 and already, is like great physique, great size.
This maniacal worker.
Seems to be just like all in on basketball. But like, he's going to have weaknesses too.
Yeah.
There's going to be things that he can't do, whether it's on the floor or off the floor or personality or attitude or approach or whatever. Like, he's not going to be a 99 or 100 at every single stat. There's going to be a lot of things that he has issues with that we are going to spend the next 20 years or whatever talking about. That's just how it is. But like, if
sports,
if looking at real hot bods is the most important thing to you, then go do it. But like, there's way more to basketball than your bench press. Look at Kevin Durant for that, for Christ's sake. Like, the dude could not lift the bar. He literally couldn't pump it one time. He's got 30,000 points in his career. I think he's done just fine.
That's an excellent point. Everybody thought that cat was too skinny to play in the league.
Yes.
And he's dominated for 15 years at this point. Like,
Sarah has a very concise way of putting it that I 100% agree with, or I think is like good perspective on it. Not being jacked is something people see as a moral failing, unlike a jump shot. And
yeah.
I agree. Like, certainly
I can see that.
Certainly there is a little bit, there is more autonomy over working out and all that stuff for a high level athlete. But to your point, some people have bodies where they just don't have the right physical type of body to make jumpers like Steph Curry, or to even make jumpers like Dorian Finney-Smith. I don't know. Like, sometimes it is like a physical limitation of how your body works. Giannis was a decent shooter. He got jacked. He also grew 4 more inches.
That's right.
And he got
changed his whole life.
It changed, and it made him a superstar. And the same goes for that, where Luka has never needed a 6-pack to be 5 times in a row All-NBA. We obviously have talked about this for 45 minutes, so there is some merit to everything that we're seeing about him taking this more seriously and trying to prevent some of the downsides
Everything we've
of
said
what
is so true, by the way.
Yeah, whoa, my God, this is the smartest pod we've ever
We're
done.
spitting.
I can't remember the last time we took one topic for just straight on
Well,
3
not
segments.
to peel the curtain back too far, but we had a pretty rushed pre-show meeting
That's right.
today.
Yeah.
There was 2 minutes on the clock,
But
and
we
Tanner
weren't
was like,
planning to keep going into the 3rd segment, and
That's
we just
right.
still had stuff to say about
well,
this.
did
so
we ever
I'll-
decide a 4th segment?
We did.
We had a
The hot
3rd
take one.
and
That's
4th
right.
segment. In
We
fact.
had a 3rd one
PJ,
too?
right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, we're going to talk PJ.
or could be for tomorrow.
Are we?
We got enough.
I think at this point we can skip that one.
Yeah, we probably could.
That one was like a forced continuation or forced sequel to last
Keyword is
last
forced.
Friday's segment. Yeah, let's.
We're in the business of putting out great shows here at DLLS.
no, we are.
Okay, I almost just tried to bring us to break.
No, it's all right,
I've still got no. I've still got hosting.
Oh, you still got hosting?
I still got.
in you? That's what
I
you
built
got?
up some reflexes to it.
I think
I saw the time on the clock and was like, oh my God, I got to get us to. Oh, thank God, Kevin's here.
I'm right here. I'll say this in 30 seconds. This is the first thing, Bobby, you can correct me if I'm wrong here. But for the folks who keep jumping in my mentions saying, Kevin, get the hell over it. Stop talking about this. He's gone with the Lakers. He's not playing. He's not coming back here. Listen, this is the first time, and again, Bobby, Tim, correct me if I'm wrong. This is the first time that this franchise has been in a specific situation where a player of this magnitude, this accomplished, has been moved, been traded, and moved on from this franchise. This story was a story globally, boys and girls, for 2 weeks, not just in sports, not just in the U.S., but globally for 2 weeks. This is the Babe Ruth trade of our lifetime and our generation. It is never going away as long as Nico Harris is the GM, as long as Anthony Davis is on this basketball team, as long as Luka Dončić is playing for the Los Angeles Lakers. This will forever be a story. So the quicker you embrace it, but also understand the future of what's happening here with Cooper Flagg. Yes, he is here. The quicker you can just have some fun with it, because the story's not going away, and it won't for a long time.
It's going to follow us for the rest of our
Literally,
gosh
it's
dang
going to follow
lives.
us for the rest of our lives against the Babe Ruth trade of our generation. It is what it is. Let's take our final break here on the DLLS Mavs podcast. When we come back, what is your hottest positive Mavs take, Cooper Flagg, going into this
We talk
upcoming
about the
season?
Mavs on this show?
We actually talk about the damn Mavs
Oh my
on
God.
this show.
Unacceptable.
We'll talk about it next on the DLLS Mavs podcast.
Hey, that was a little thing called acting. We actually do talk about the Mavs on this show every single, Monday through Friday. So almost every single day.
You know what else they
Also,
call acting?
what?
Lying.
That's true. I call it acting, and that's what it is now.
No, your initial reaction was
We
that's
also
true.
we do pre and post game shows too, and we also cover the Cowboys, the Rangers, and the Stars, and and the Dallas Wings too, a weekly show. There's always stuff going on in Dallas sports, and the number one way to stay plugged in is by becoming a diehard. You can do that by scanning the QR code beneath me. Right now, we're running a training camp intro offer in honor of the Cowboys heading out west to California. Clarence Hill is with them. He's getting exclusives with the players and with management coaches every single day. The dude is out there churning out content, and if you want to read all of that stuff on our website, alldlls.com, take advantage of this deal. Normally it's a little more than that, but now it's just $36. It's $3 a month. You get a free shirt right when you sign up. You also get to read that website. Included in that is coverage of the Rangers. Jeff Wilson, they're 8-1 in their last 9. They might be making some trades pretty soon. He's going to cover that. Tim Cato with the offseason moves. Sam Nessler, Sean Shapiro covering the Stars offseason, their new coach, their new system, and everything. You're going to be the smartest, most interesting, most attractive, most swole, best jump shot having person in your friend group, your family, and so on. And that is scientifically proven by 4 out of 5 dentists that recommend that you do just that. So become
Was
a
that
diehard.
acting as well?
No, that's proof. I've done the research myself. Do your own research. You can also join the Discord. It's a great place to hang out. We got almost 1,500 diehards. It's a great place to hang out with all of them. And you get your physical diehard card, and you get a discount on merch. You get a
Be that I drop my iPad. Bam. Tanner keeps switching the camera. Bam. There it is. What's your hottest Mavs take?
Did the stream stop?
What? No. What's your hottest Mavs take going into this upcoming season?
Maybe.
Let's talk about it.
Pretty sure the stream stopped.
Yeah,
but that's
it
all right.
stopped-
We're
stopped
still
on my end.
It's still recording. It's still recording
Wait,
in
we're back.
Ecamm.
We're back.
Oh, we're so back.
We've never been more back.
Never been. Y'all will never know what we talked about during that brief time right after Kevin dropped the iPad.
That's right. What's your hottest positive Mavs take going into this upcoming season? Let us know in the chat as well as we talk about it here to finish up last 10 minutes of our show today, gentlemen. What's your hottest Mavs positive take going into this upcoming season?
Bobby said he had one.
Did I?
Before the
Dude,
I'm
that's
going
show
to
you
pick
did.
up my iPad.
You know what we call that? Deflection. You're busting
Correct.
out all the debate tactics today, all right? It's only a matter of time before we get to the ad hominems, you big
I was
jerk.
about to say Ad
Yeah.
hominem.
I
What about
love this show.
What
I
about
love this show.
whataboutism?
Okay, yeah. My hottest Mav take, I think, for this upcoming season is that the Mavs are assuming reasonable enough health, right?
Mhm.
Let's say that everyone plays enough to qualify for awards, right? Obviously, with the exception of Kyrie. So you're getting at least 65 games from everyone. I think the Mavs are going to be top 5 in terms of like fewest number of points in the paint allowed. So like they're going to allow the among the least amount of points in the paint. And opponent's field goal percentage at the rim is also going to be a top 5 mark for Dallas. But the Mavs are going to rank bottom 5 in number of threes allowed. And so I think that their success is going to be make or miss league. And so my hot take is that this Mavs team, this Mavs defense is the ultimate get off my lawn litmus test. Like all of the old school, like basketball was better when I was growing up, or like, man, I miss the 90s. Like this is your team. And so this is going to be the ultimate kind of statement, right? This is going to be the referendum on old man basketball. Can this Mavs defense be elite? We'll see if the boomers are right on this one.
I'm going through a bunch of positive takes that I have, and I'm trying to decide if any of them are hot enough.
Let's go.
I feel like a lot of them aren't super hot. I think this team is going to just maul bad teams. I think
They're going to
Mavericks are
crush bad teams.
Yeah, I think they're going to be very good against bad
I
teams.
agree with that.
Now, I'm not going to make a prediction that they're like not going to lose a game to the bottom 8 teams in the league or something like that, because
I bet the Mavs are not going to lose to Utah this year.
I bet that too.
Come on, Tanner.
That I'm willing to bet too.
You have one job,
in.
Like you said, I think
Technically, you did not say Utah lost, so
I'm with Tanner here.
yeah.
That
Semantics.
This is semantics. Another tried and true debate strategy of losers. Second place finishers in debate use semantics.
Oh yeah, so I agree with Bobby. I think they're going to give up a lot of threes, and even bad teams can have good variance games against you. I think the offense is going to be okay. I think especially in the regular season that there are going to be games where they just fashion points out of.
Okay isn't a hot take.
I know. That's why I'm like.
Yeah, you're doing a lot of hedging right now. Like a lot of hedging.
I feel like
Here's a hot take. Hot take. Klay Thompson is not going to lead the team in 3-pointers made this year.
Who is?
I don't know. I haven't gotten that far. That's just
a
my
real
take.
hot take considering the summer that Klay's having right now.
That's just my
I
hot
think
take.
Klay's about to have the best year of his life.
He's
okay?
now whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is up to
Honestly,
you to decide.
It's going to be D'Angelo.
It wouldn't surprise me if it was D'Lo.
It probably is going to be D'Lo.
Would it surprise you if it was Brandon Williams? Honestly, would it surprise you if it was Cooper? Like Coop might make 2.5 threes a game. Probably won't, but he might.
If Coop's making 2.5 threes a game, we got some conversations to have.
He's probably gonna be taking 4 or 5, I would think, right? So like, I guess 2.5 would be pretty.
I'm about to say if he's making 2.5.
But like, what if he
taking?
plays 76 games and makes 150 threes or whatever? Like that still might lead the team.
That would be really kind of sad if Klay Thompson is in the starting lineup and.
Well, I don't think he is gonna start.
See, we're gonna have that conversation tomorrow.
Wait. You don't think who's gonna
Klay?
Because I think Klay will be in the starting lineup, but again, we'll talk about that tomorrow because the spacing on this team, yikes.
What's a hot take segment?
I'm just saying.
That's a take.
But that's not my take.
That's a hot take,
though.
though.
That Klay's not going to be in the starting lineup?
Well, I think it's a hot take to say that he is going to be the starter.
Oh. Okay, so let's just walk down the road then. What spacing is there on the team then?
With him out there, there's still no spacing.
But you got to have a credible threat of spacing with Klay on the floor.
I agree. I think that their best way to provide space, regardless of whether Klay's on the floor or not, is to not play 2 bigs. Like I think they would have better spacing playing 1 big and 4 non-bigs or 4 shooters than 2 bigs and Klay. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Interesting.
Yeah,
because you just stay home on Klay all the time then?
Well, whether you stay home with Klay or not, it's way easier to have help if there's 2 bigs, because then you got your own guys plus their guys guarding them, so they're defenders. So there's 4 people camped out in the lane plus the guy that you have to beat in order to get there. That's just tough. Whereas if you have 4 shooters, then your biggest setting a screen for you, there's no one in the paint.
Yeah.
And then there's all that room to cut. There's all that room to pass, drive.
Yeah, there's the spacing. Where the spacing isn't going to come from is the idea that Dallas is only going to a lot of possessions. Dallas will only have 2 people outside of the 3-point arc. Like Anthony Davis will be setting up for a high post touch, and on the opposite side in the dunker spot is going to be, Derek Lively or Daniel Gafford, and you'll get some fun high-low stuff out of that.
Ooh, Master Fame has a good hot take.
Ooh,
will be the best guard until Kai comes back.
Woo!
That is a hot take, but it's realistic.
That's
rooted
I mean,
in reality.
Opportunities too,
That's
for
rooted
sure.
in reality. Brandon Williams is probably their best, certainly craftiest ball handler that can break guys down, get in the lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet. How about this? Clay will probably have the biggest offensive on-off difference. When Clay's on the floor, their offensive rating is going to be way higher than it is whenever he's off the floor.
Okay.
I buy that. Who's going to be the defensive on-off leader?
AD probably
Yeah.
AD.
Probably.
I'm going to say
Anthony Davis.
Lively still.
I
Okay.
almost went with Lively, but
Okay.
AD, I think.
Because
Yeah.
I think Lively is going to be. Well, I don't know. I just believe in a Lively-led defense. I mean, it easily could be AD.
AD Lively
I
will
think it
be
has to be
the
Anthony Davis,
number one
honestly.
center forward combo in the league. for
Okay, I
defensive
guess
rating.
here's why.
Number
I think
one.
This. I guess here's why I think this. When Lively's healthy, it's more likely he's going to be playing next to AD. If AD's playing, sometimes he's going to be the lone center. Whenever
He's fine
AD
as the lone big though. You switch everything. Switch
Yeah.
1 through 5. You're good.
Which is
That
why I
also
want
makes
Anthony
sense.
Davis playing the 5, but whatever.
Yeah, it won't be Cooper because of the way the stat works. He's just going to play too many minutes with too many different variations. That's also why it's probably going to be the AD or Lively, just because they are going to play when they're out. The defense is going to get worse, and everybody who's playing is going to be affected. What I'm saying.
So
does
that's not a
matter.
hot take at all. Megan Thee Stallion has clearly helped Clay regain a lot of things, including a $300,000 watch. But that's
He shot 39% last
He
year.
spent $300,000 on
What
a
are we
watch.
talking about?
no.
Regaining a shot.
Megan Thee Stallion bought Clay Thompson a $300,000 watch.
Holy dude, what?
Okay,
That's good for him.
Is it made out of the Die Hard cards?
it's a little more expensive than Die Hard card, my guy.
Is he going to get to wear it on the court next year?
On those
It'd
Clay,
be really funny if they
Clay's
let
about
him.
to have the best season of his life. My hot take is this: if all things go well for the Mavericks this year, they will have, check this out, the NBA's Defensive Player of the Year, a first-team All-NBA player, the Sixth Man of the Year, and the NBA's Rookie of the Year. I'm talking about Anthony Davis. I'm talking about Cooper Flagg, and I'm talking about PJ Washington. That is the hottest take I can come up with. Is that Anthony Davis will be first-team All-NBA and Defensive Player of the Year. Cooper Flagg will be your Rookie of the Year, and PJ Washington will be your Sixth Man of the Year. As if all things go swimmingly well for the Dallas Mavericks this year.
What if they don't? I think
That's clearly not what this segment is.
That's
well,
not the
no,
segment.
I think like I don't even think it's a hot take to say that Cooper's guaranteed Rookie of the Year, right? Like I think even if the Mavs have a horrible year, they're still getting Rookie of the Year almost guaranteed.
I think
Unless Dylan Harper is just
VJ Edgecombe has a real good shot at Rookie of the Year.
Got so many mouths to feed, man.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be Edgecombe. I don't think.
I think
Dylan Harper maybe. Like,
Harper-
let's say the Spurs win 47 games or something.
I agree that Dylan, but Dylan is coming off the bench behind 2 guards.
Yeah, he's got De'Aaron Fox.
Oh,
running
that's
it.
right.
VJ's going to play right
that's,
away.
That's the main reason why
Yeah.
I'm just slightly down on Cooper is going to get the most chances, the most minutes. Going to be most featured because Kyrie is out early on. He's going to be featured more than Edgecombe. He's going to be featured more than Harper. You could. I think
The way the
Knippel-
Sixers
I think
injury
Knippel's gonna
situation
be
though is
instantly very
VJ's
good.
going to have a lot of impact, I think. 'cause
I think plausibly it could be Knippel.
There's also just so much
But-
try-hard voting for like, well, this rookie is the 4th best player on a good team as opposed to 3rd best player on a mid team, so I'm going to give it to the guy that contributed to winning. And it's like, yeah, he also gets to play with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. Like that definitely
if he gets to
helps.
play with him the way the injury situation is
That's
in Philadelphia.
true. That's true.
Like,
I'm gonna say the only other candidate, other than Harper and Edgecombe and Knippel, 2nd, 3rd, 4th overall picks. They're obviously. I think Trey Johnson has a chance. I think Trey Johnson,
I'm going to throw a dark horse
I will
candidate.
happily take that bet.
I'll throw Jeremiah Fears in there as a dark horse candidate.
Cooper versus the field is still so overwhelming.
sure.
Oh,
Overwhelming.
overwhelmingly. We're trying to find anybody who has a chance.
Yeah, put a little money in Westgate, if you will. Trying to figure it out.
I guess Nick Clifford if the Kings just anyway. I don't know.
No. Who'd Utah draft?
We'll
Ace
talk about
Bailey.
It.
What about
Ace
him?
Bailey. No,
I don't think.
Cats in
so,
shadow
but
realm
maybe.
out there. We appreciate our guy Tanner making us look good and sound good.
What a
as
show.
always. Good to be back in the DLLS Sports Studio with my guys.
Everything
here
is
on
great.
the DLLS Mavs podcast. Thank you to all of you for joining us here on today's show. We'll be back tomorrow at 12 p.m. right here on the DLLS Mavs show. That's our Mavericks analyst Bobby Curl. That's our Mavs beat writer Tim Cato. I'm your host Kevin Gray. Mark Stein will be with us tomorrow, boys and girls. Tomorrow at 12 p.m. right here.
Full show
on DL. Yeah, all our guys will be back.
Last time for a while.
For a while. We'll see you at 12. Y'all be good. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.